Hey everyone, Josh here, Wargaming Noob Historical, back with another read-through review. This time around it's Pike and Shotte, The Devil's Playground. With the uptick in interest in Pike and Shotte because of the epic scale releases that have come out, I think this would be a good way to add a little bit more to your Pike and Shotte gameplay. Once again, these read-through reviews do take a while, so I would suggest that if you don't want to listen to this at normal speed, you can increase the speed to 1.25 or 1.5 times, and it'll get through it a lot quicker. With these read-through reviews, I will go through the entirety of the book and briefly talk about each section as it applies to the Pike and Shotte rule system. So, in any case, go ahead and sit back and enjoy. We're going to go ahead and start the review. Devil's Playground. Now, obviously, the 30 Years' War. We have the Swedes on the front here. This was written by Neil Smith and Steve Morgan. This is a little bit older release, 2016. I'm not familiar with what came in the Epic Pike and Shotte starter, so that might just be an updated rule book for Pike and Shotte, as well as more 30 Years War focused. This obviously will have more of the 30-year war in there. So the intro and table of contents, it's broken down by the phases: the Bohemian phase, the Palatinate phase, the Danish phase, the Swedish phase, and finally rounding it out with the French phase, which coincided with the end of the war. You also have the flags of the 30 Years' War, just some information on mercenary companies fighting in the 30 Years' War under the Paid to Fight section, and then we finish off with the section on siege warfare, so setting it up and all the rules associated with that. Got some wonderful studio models painted, so you get your brief introduction to the 30 Years' War. This is an example of a Pike and Shotte battle with the Catholic Habsburgs against the Protestant anti-Habsburg. And the interesting thing about Pike and Shotte is that initially it was set under the black powder rules, but because there was so much of a difference between those two eras of warfare, that Warlord decided to spin it off into its own game. If you've played Black Powder, if you've played Hail Caesar, some of the rules in Pike and Shotte are very similar. So, anyway, information on the Bohemian phase, the first part of the war. Again, wonderful studio models. Brief look at the land battles of the Bohemian phase. Here's a brief overview of the Battle of White Mountain, with some information on Count Tilly, who has a commander rating of 9. His special rule is Father Tilly. Tilly was renowned for the care he took in looking after his soldiers, and they repaid this with their loyalty. Any unit within 12 inches of Tilly may re-roll any break tests they are required to make. I do have this model. Then you have Christian I, Prince of Anhalt-Bernburg. He has a commander rating of 7, and then the rule Politician Not a Fire. Christian of Anhalt was trained as a diplomat and ill-prepared to raise and lead an army to victory. Christian will blunder a command roll on any double, even if under his command rating. In addition, 3 non-militia units under Christian's command must be given the militia special rule. So some information on refighting the Battle of White Mountain. You have some variables here. You have some conditions for victories. So the major victory for the Imperials forced the rebels to retreat from the field, and then the rebels prevent the Imperialists from occupying any of the high ground at the end of the game. Minor victory, the Imperials capture the Star Palace, and then the rebels prevent the capture of the Star Palace. We have Charles de Longueville, Count of Buquoy. I think that's how you pronounce it. He has a command rating of 8, and his rule as General of Artillery. Buquoy was an experienced artillery general. Friendly ordnance units may re-roll the first one of the battle. Then you have Count Pappenheim, command rating of 8, And then his rules, Pappenheim's Charge. Pappenheim's trademark was a devastating cavalry charge, which was hard to control. All cavalry units in Pappenheim's battalia gained the Ferocious Charge special rule. Will always engage the enemy in a sweeping advance if they are able. In addition, one cuirassier unit, the Pappenheimers, gains a Terrifying Charge special rule at 5 points. Then you have Heinrich Matthias von Thurn, man rating of 8. He has Resilient as his special rule. Despite setbacks, Thurn managed to instill backbone into his recruits. One unit under Thurn's command gains the Steady special rule. Here are the orders of battle for both the Imperials and the Bohemians, the rebels. So if you are building an Imperial or rebel Bohemian army, you can follow this as a guide to do that. Here's the battlefield and deployment. And basically an overview of how it played for the Warlord Studio guys. Here are the stats for the Holy Roman Empire Army early war. You have command ratings here. You roll for them. Roll d6 for ratings. So 1 to 5, you get a command rating of 8. 6, you get a command rating of 9. Then you have command ratings for infantry, artillery, cavalry commander at 40 points. Here is the stats for the horse. So you'll have your lifeguard, cuirassiers, harquebusiers, cavalry regiments, hussars, and Cossacks. And then the foot, you have the Empire Elite Pikemen, Empire Elite Musketeers, and Commanded Musket. More foot, Hungarian, Austrian Veteran Pikemen, Hungarian, Austrian Veteran Musketeers, Mercenary Pikemen, and so on and so forth. You have the ordnance, which is artillery, so light cannon, medium cannon, heavy cannon, siege artillery, and they have points for Count of Bucquoy at 40 points. Now you have the Catholic League Army, the Protestants. So again, you roll for your commander rating. If you want to randomize it, it's 40 points. If you want to start a command rating of 8, it's 40 points. Again, stats for the Catholic League. Lifeguard cuirassiers, harquebusiers, etc. And then you have the foot, Catholic Elite Pikemen, Catholic Elite Musketeers, so on and so forth. And again, the ordnance. Here you have the Dramatis Personae, Count von Tilly, Count Pappenheim. We move on to the Palatinate and Bohemian army. So you again roll, but this time it's only 20 points for the rebels, I guess, or 20 points to get a command rating of 7. Horse, again, very similar to the Empire, very similar to the Imperial and Catholic League stats. Then you have the foot. You do have peasant levy here. And then for ordnance, they only have medium and heavy cannon. You have Dramatis Personae, Christian I is free. Heinrich von Thurn is 45 points. Some information on the Tercio, as well as optional rules for Tercio. And then some more studio models. Then we move on to the Palatinate phase, 1621 to 1624. Again, some brief information here. Here is Christian the Younger of Brunswick. He has a command rating of 7 and the special rule Mad and Bad, renowned for leading recklessly from the front, adds +2 dice to any combat that he is involved in. In addition, 1 unit of horse in the army may be given the Fanatic special rule at 5 points. That sounds pretty good, but his command rating is kind of low. These are the major battles of the Palatinate phase. Here is the background on the Battle of Statlow, more studio models, and then information on refighting Statlow, deployment, major victory, and then some variable rules. Your orders of battle for the Catholic League and the Protestant Army. Then an overview of how it played for the Warlord guys. Here we have Ernst von Mansfield. His command rating of 8, with special rule War feeds War. Mansfeld was renowned for getting loyal service from his mercenary troops. Any friendly units with the mercenary special rule gain +2 to any break test required if von Mansfeld is within 12 inches. Then you have Ambrogio Spinola. He has a command rating of 9. Great besieger. Spinola's great reputation was forged in the Low Countries through bitter siege warfare. Any friendly heavy or siege ordnance gained +1 to hit. In addition, whenever Spinola commands in a siege, his command rating increases to 10. Then you have the Cardinal Infante Ferdinand, command rating of 8, son of Spain. Ferdinand exuded royalty, and his Spanish regiments competed to impress him. Any Spanish foot units within 12 inches of Ferdinand gain +1 hand-to-hand value. The stats for the Protestant German State Army. Again, you roll for your commander rating. If you want to randomize it, it's 20 points, or 20 points for a command rating of 7. Your stats for the horse, and the foot, as well as the ordnance. And then at the bottom, you have Christian of Brunswick for 25 points and Ernst von Mansfeld for 45. The Spanish Army. Again, you randomize for 20 points, but if you want a command rating of 8, you get 40 points. Here's the horse. And then the foot, as well as the ordnance. And then you have Spinola for 70 points, and then Ferdinand for 45 points. Then you have the United Provinces of the Netherlands, 40 points to randomize your commander rating, or 40 points to start at command rating 8. Stats for the horse and the foot. Then we have Frederick Henry, Prince of Orange, command rating of 9. Special rules: Maurice's legacy. Frederick Henry learnt his military lessons from Maurice of Nassau, and was a bitter foe to the Spanish. All friendly units gain +1 combat resolution bonus within 12 inches of the Prince of Orange. This bonus is +2 if the enemy is Spanish. Stats for the foot and the ordnance, as well as the point total for the Prince of Orange, 80 points. Now we move on to the Danish phase. The major land battles of the Danish phase include: we have Christian IV, King of Denmark, command rating of 8. He has the rule King's Resolve. Christian IV had a self-belief in abundance. More importantly, the Danish people shared this belief. One unit of cuirassiers can be upgraded to be the King's Lifeguard and gains the Lance and Elite +4+ special rule at 10 points. Any Danish elite unit, including the King's Lifeguard, gains the Valiant special rule if within 12 inches of Christian IV. Studio models. Information background on the Battle of Lutter. Next up we have Matthias Gallus. He has a command rating of 8. And then he has the rule of Wallenstein's Ghost. Gallus took over Wallenstein's army, but was never the same without the old master. Gallus blunders on a command roll of 11 or 12 if Wallenstein is not present. That doesn't seem to be a very good rule, but probably accurate. And then information on refighting Lutter, as well as your deployment, victory conditions, and some variables to the rules like flank attacks and every unit for itself. The order of battle for the Catholic League and the Danish army. Here we have the Duke of Saxe-Weimar, command rating of 7. Bernard Ascendant is his rule, capable and willing. Bernard just needed a few things to go his way to shine. Whenever Bernard rolls double 1 for a command, his command rating improves by +1. It's interesting. Then the background, or the overview of how it played for the Warlord guys. Here we have Wallenstein. He has a command rating of 9. His special rule is War Chest. Wallenstein was able to raise huge numbers of men by using his vast wealth. This wealth also ensured his men stayed in the field, as mercenaries were eager to be paid. Any imperial units with a mercenary special rule lose this while Wallenstein is still in command of the army. Here we have Horace Vere, 1st Baron Vere of Tilbury. Command rating of 8. Special rule is Stubborn Defense. There gained a reputation for defensive warfare in the Palatinate and in the Low Countries. Friendly foot units and defensive works gained the stubborn special rule if within 12 inches of there. Here is the breakdown of the Danish army. Again, roll for random commander rating at 40 points or assign command rating of 8 at 40 points. You have your horse and foot right there. The foot continued with the ordnance. So they do have light, medium, heavy, and siege artillery. And then obviously the Dramatis Personae Christian IV is 45 points. Bernard of Saxe-Weimar, 25 points. And the stats for the Holy Roman Empire, 1625 to 1635. 40 points to randomize your commander rating, or 40 points to assign a commander rating of 8. You have your horse and foot. And continue with the foot, and then the ordnance. Again, all different levels of ordnance here. You have Wallenstein at 70 points, Pappenheim at 55 points, and Gallus for 40 points. Stats for the English army. 40 points to randomize the rating, and then 40 points if you want to assign 8. Horse and foot right here. Continue the foot, and then the ordnance. They don't have light artillery or light cannon. And then you have Ver for 45 points. And we get to the Swedish phase, which many people know about. Get some background on that. Beautiful studio painted models. Major land battles of the Swedish phase. We have the man himself, Gustavus Adolphus. He has a command rating of 8. Special rule, Lion of the North, King Gustav was the master of aggressive maneuvers and was usually seen leading from the front. When Gustav joins a unit and issues a follow me order, the order applies to all the units in the battalion, not just the unit he joined. In addition, any unit that Gustav joins receives a +1 combat resolution bonus. I think so far that's the highest command rating that we've seen in the book. Here's an overview of the Battle of Breitenfeld. You have Count Gustav Horn, command rating of 8. His rule is Defender's bonus. Whenever Gustav Horn commands troops placed on the strategic or tactical defensive, his command rating increases to 9. You have Lennart Torstensen. He has a command rating of 9. He has double shot as his rule. Whenever Lennart Torstensen is in command, his force artillery may fire twice per turn. Here's a overview of free fighting Breitenfeld with the deployment, victory conditions, and the variables. Then your order of battle for the Swedish and then the Catholic League. How it played for the Warlord guys. And then some information on playing the Swedish system. Here we have Johann George I, Elector of Saxony. He has a command rating of 8. He has a couple special rules. Reluctant ally Johann George was not at all happy about being dragged into the war. His command rating will be reduced by 1 every time he blunders. Oof. Then Lifeguard, 1 unit of cuirassiers can be upgraded to Lifeguard, gaining the Lance and Elite 4+ special rules at 10 points. Here's the breakdown of the Swedish army. Again, 40 points to randomize your commander rating, or 40 points to assign 8. A horse and foot. The foot continued, and ordnance, only light and medium cannon. You have a number of Dramatis Personae. There is Gustavus Adolphus at 95 points, Torstensen at 70 points, Horn at 45, Turn at 45, and Bernard of Saxe-Weimar at 25 points. Then you have a couple special additions here. Swedish Salvo, a unit with the Swedish Salvo special rule, is allowed to fire when charging at 5 points. And then Swedish Feathers, if a cavalry unit charges a unit with the Swedish Feathers. The Swedish Feathers special rule, the cavalry unit does not gain a charge bonus. That's 4 points. Next up we have the breakdown of the Saxon army. 20 points to randomize your commander rating, or 20 points to assign 7. Here's the horse. And then the foot and ordnance. And then we only have Johann George the first at 35 points. And we finally round out the French phase, the last part of 30 Years' War. This is the breakdown and overview. The land battles of the French phase, there's quite a few here. This is an overview of the Battle of Rocroi. So we have Cardinal Richelieu for the French, command rating of 8. Special rule: the peasants are revolting. Whenever Cardinal Richelieu commands against any force that contains any peasants or militia, his command rating increases to 9. Here's an overview of how to refight Rocroi. Victory conditions, some variables in the rules. Then there's your order of battle for the French and the Spanish. And then you have Louis de Bourbon, Prince of Condé, command rating of 9. The Great Condé, consistently brilliant throughout his career, Condé was adept at exploiting any weakness in the army. Any friendly unit within 12 of the great man gained plus D3 combat resolution. Seems to be pretty good. Then you have the Vicomte de Turenne. He has a command rating of 10. He is the champion of France. Turenne was a genius for war, and aside from Napoleon, was arguably France's greatest ever general. Turenne can redeploy one battalion after both armies have set up. In addition, when Turenne successfully rallies a unit, it regains 2 stamina points. Note that he may never remove a unit's final casualty marker. You have Franz von Mercy for the Holy Roman Empire in Bavaria, command rating of 8. Last hope, von Mercy was the Empire's last great general and fought a courageous campaign to the end. Friendly units within 12 of von Mercy gain the Brave special rule. Here are the stats for the French army: 1635-1648, 40 points to randomize your command rating, or 40 points to assign 8. We have the horse and the foot. Then we have the foot continue with ordnance. And then obviously the Dramatis Personae, Vicomte de Turenne is 95 points. Louis de Bourbon is 90 points. Cardinal Richelieu is 45, and Bernard of Saxe-Weimar is 25 points. Again, rules for Swedish salvo and Swedish feathers. And then the late Holy Roman Empire and Bavarian army, 1635 to 1648, 40 points to randomize the command rating, 40 points to assign a command rating of 8. Here's your horse and foot. The foot continued and the ordnance. And then you have Franz von Mercy at 50 points and Matthias Gallus at 40 points. And then the late Swedish army, 40 points to randomize the command rating, 40 points to assign a command rating of 9. That's pretty nice. You have your horse and foot. And then the foot and ordnance. And then Leonard Torstenson is 70 points, Gustav Horn is 45, and Bernard of Saxe-Weimar is 25. Again, Swedish salvo, Swedish feathers. Then you have the flags of the 30 Years' War. You could probably print these out and use them for your models. Here's your Imperial or Holy Roman Empire colors. And then the Spanish colors and the Catholic League. Here are the colors of the anti-Habsburg alliance of the Protestants. The colors for the French and England, Netherlands, Palatinate, and German states get 1. And then you have your information on the mercenaries. Here you can generate a mercenary company by rolling. Some of the stats for the mercenaries, as well as some rules when you roll. And then some rules for, more rules, basically. Experience tables, injury tables, leadership skill tables, as well as what happens after a battle. Skill table for the troops. Company skill table. And then here is a mercenary war campaign, so that's pretty neat. You don't have to play as one of the major nations. You can play as a mercenary company. This is the campaign rules. The scenario of the bridge. That's the first one. 2, village. 3, crossroads. And 4, the final battle. overview of how the campaign played for the Warlord guys. And then finally, an overview of the climax of the mercenary campaign called A Redoubt Too Far. That's pretty interesting. The results. More studio models. Rules for siege warfare. This is what we're going to round out the review with. So it's neat that they do have this. And that's pretty much it. So, the 30 Years' War certainly was a humongous conflict during the 17th century that encompassed the entirety of Europe at the time. Definitely a lot of gameplay to be had if you are playing Pike and Shot, and different nations to play with using this specific supplement for Pike and Shot. This is a companion piece to the other Pike and Shot supplement, the Civil War one, To Kill a King. At some point I'll do a read-through review of that one. Again, I don't know if, since this is an earlier release from 2016, obviously there may be some rules changes and stats changes with the release of Epic Pike and Shot. I'm not familiar yet because I haven't purchased any of that. I do have the standard rule book. You can absolutely apply this to your Epic scale battles as well. It'll probably be more epic because of the size of your armies on the table. But again, if you need a solid backbone to a campaign for the 30 Years' War that you're going to be playing for Epic, or even for just your 28 mil, then this is going to be the supplement for you. So, alright, that is it. I know this was kind of a long one. If you like this video, go ahead and click like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I appreciate it if you would. Click the bell notification icon to get notified of all new read-through reviews coming out of the channel, and then click the link in the description below to join our Discord server. That's the best way I could personally interact with you and chit-chat you about Pike and Shot and any other game that I cover on the channel. That's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more read-through review from Wargaming Noob Historical.